Hi everyone and welcome to another week of the Tetra Travels. This video is the start of a series I'm planning to do on this channel. It's a bit of departure from the other stuff that I do, but I think it'll be really interesting and hopefully we'll introduce some really great stories and great characters out to the world. The series aims to interview people that I think have done amazing things and have had incredible journeys since having spinal cord injury. Having these sort of injuries can have a major impact on life, but it can also mean that the mindset completely changes. I think there's valuable lessons to be learned from people that have had catastrophic injuries, such as myself, but also many other people out there with, as I say, incredible stories. I aim to dig deeper into these people's lives to discover what makes them tick, how they've managed to deal with adversity, and in general, why their journey has been so incredible and special. Everyone I've chosen to interview for this series, I believe, have a story that needs to be told. A story that may not be in the public yet, but should be for various reasons. I hope you find them just as fascinating and informative as I do, and hopefully it'll encourage you to get out there, possibly change your mindset on life, and encourage you to go and live your life to the full. The first person I'm interviewing, I think, is an exceptional guest and a great way to start the series. He was injured at a very young age whilst playing schoolboy rugby. He then overcame many obstacles to get to where he was today and eventually became a Great Britain wheelchair rugby player at the Paralympics. I'd like to introduce you to someone I'm honoured to call a friend, Ross Morrison, to kick us off. How were you actually injured in the first place, Ross?
So I was injured playing rugby. It was a fairly routine Wednesday afternoon training session at my school. We were just doing some sort of tackling, rucking practice, took ball into contact, and just literally rolled over the guy's shoulder and landed on my neck. Totally random, totally just pure accident. You know, I've been tackled 1,000 times, landed 1,000 times. Just on that particular occasion, I landed really weird.
And how much do you actually remember about that day? Do you
I was
have
fully conscious.
Okay.
So I remember everything about the day, for obvious reasons. It was very weird because obviously it'd been a fairly normal school day up until sort of your lunchtime, and then you go down to the sports ground for rugby practice in the afternoon on a Wednesday. And yeah, it'd been a really normal day, just nothing out of the ordinary, and yeah, just took the ball into contact, landed on my neck. Felt this sort of massive wave of pain, screamed a bit, and then it all cut out. Felt nothing. I kind of went to the sort of ref spokes coach, like, I've really screwed my neck up. I didn't quite understand what had happened, but I knew something fairly serious had happened because I'd done some training as a lifeguard, and so I knew about spinal injuries, and I kind of realised something had gone wrong.
Yeah.
And so very wisely, the coach was like, right, you just no one touch him, leave him there. Obviously, it was a nice sunny day on a rugby pitch. I was in no danger, so he did the very best thing he could do, which was leave me until the paramedics turned up.
And was that by ambulance or was that by air
Yeah,
ambulance?
yeah, obviously popped down by ambulance, and I mean, it's just surreal because you can't process what's going on. You're just aware that you're lying on a rugby pitch, and of course, everyone gets kind of taken away. And it's, and they came along, did the whole spinal board thing, got me in the ambulance. You're not really truly understanding what's happening. You're just like, yeah, this isn't good, but you don't understand why. You're just kind of you're still very much in shock.
What was like the recovery period you had like?
So I spent 6 months at Salisbury Spinal Unit. So to start with, I went to my local A&E. Obviously, they did some CAT scans, bits and pieces, and they obviously diagnosed me with a spinal cord injury. And so they rushed me down to Salisbury Spinal Unit later on that evening. I think that was when I started to probably freak out because the impact starts to get really real. This is really serious. And as an ongoing joke that I used to have with my consultant at the time, who sadly is no longer with us, a guy called Mr. Tromans. And because they're really short staffed that night, he was doing some of the admissions, and he was trying to get me set up and trying to get an NG tube down my throat. And at this point, I was like, nope, not happening. And so you've got a very senior consultant having a sort of flat out argument with 16-year-old kid going, nope, sorry, not today. just because I just kind of reached a point where it's like I'm so freaked out now, nothing's happening. And so that was really weird. But then, yeah, it's all a bit mad because that first week they're kind of they're working out what to do to try to assess the level of damage that's happened, and they hung something like 33 pounds worth of weight off the back of my neck to straighten it out, which
Is
they
it
managed to do. It's mad that it could be that badly damaged from a fall. Eventually, they got it all sort of straightened out, but they realised it wasn't going to support itself, it was going to heal by itself. So yeah, a week after admission, I was down to surgery, um, and yeah, spinal fix, grafts from the hips, wiring, fuse up the neck, so sort of all sorted out. Yeah, that was really weird. It's a weird week,
for sure?
and then of course starts the real challenge of figuring out what you're going to do next.
And so, how long were you actually in Salisbury for?
6 months in total. So the way it works is the first sort of after surgery, the first 6 weeks you're still on bed rest. They're allowing the surgery to heal, they're allowing it to get stable, which is quite frustrating because you just want to start doing something. But then you start the rehab process, and it's really slow to begin with. Literally, it's just about being able to get up into a wheelchair for the first time. Uh, and then building up time in the wheelchair, because obviously if you've been used to lying down for 6 weeks, your body's kind of changed. One of the things that I found really weird was at the time I was watching TV through a mirror. So because you're lying flat on your back, they had a TV to the side. They put a mirror over the bed so you can watch TV. And of course, after a while, your brain gets used to TV being backwards. So when you get back up in the normal world and you're watching TV, it's all backwards. So
Yeah,
your brain has to kind of relearn that. But I mean, it's the whole rehab process just starts off as really basic, learning just how to sort of come to terms with your injury, doing little things like learning to push your chair, learning to get dressed, to feed yourself, and then all the way up to right, how do I transfer by myself, and how do I sort of become fully independent? And that, given although I'm a C7 tetraplegic, I'm fairly independent. And their goal was that I would leave hospital basically ready to take care of myself, that I could live pretty much independently, which is a little bit different from what it is today,
yeah,
which I think is a massive shame because although maybe 6 months was a bit too long in hospital, by the time I left, I knew everything I needed to know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I just had to work it out in sort of the real world.
What do you feel like the reaction over the time from other people was like? Say your friend group, um, family.
So I would say I found I found out you find out who your friends are. And I'm very lucky that I would say pretty much all the people I knew at first they were hesitant because they didn't know what to do, and it wasn't out of not wanting to; they just didn't know what to do. But they were there for me, and they came and saw me. They visited me, and when I got out of hospital and got back to school, they were awesome. They were all really cool. There's only one or two who kind of just disappeared, as it were. But then you do find out who your true friends are when the chips are down. And I was very very lucky.
Mm,
And I think once they figured out I was still me, just obviously just coming from a wheelchair perspective as well. That it was all cool. Looking at some of the people that I was in hospital with, and looking at some of the people I've met on my sort of journey post injury, I think I've been very lucky in terms of friends and family,
mm,
and that makes a huge difference in terms of trying to just get back into normal life.
yeah,
Just trying to just do all the normal stuff like go back to school, you know, go to the pub, just go and do things with people, hang out, chill out, do whatever.
yeah,
When all the same people are still in your life, still treating you as normal,
yeah, yeah.
that's
Do you,
huge.
do you think there's like a two-way street there though, that because of the attitude of the way you dealt with it enabled those friendships to remain?
Yeah, I do think that comes into it, in that I have come across some people who were kind of just like withdrew after
Mm,
their injury, and stopped engaging with the world. And when that happens, becomes very difficult, I think, for people to keep giving. It's like if you keep saying to someone, "Hey, you want to hang out, want to do something, go to a cinema, go for a walk, whatever," and if all the time you get the response, "No, not today, not today," after a while, it becomes very difficult to engage with that person. So there's definitely although there's some leeway and understanding because your world's just turned upside down. You still need to try and engage with the world, and I think what you put out there, you will get back.
That'll be it for this episode, but look out for the next part. I'll be uploading that soon, where you can hear more of Ross's incredible story. Hope that you tune in for that. I think there's plenty of lessons to be learnt from him, and that frankly, he's a fantastic guest to have. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you can follow the story and hopefully see more interviews like this. There's loads of other side projects, but this is going to be a series of interviews that I hope you enjoy. Please comment if you've got any thoughts on how we want to make the project in the future. I'd love to hear your thoughts, as this is the first in the series. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe, and see you for the next episode.